Have you ever wondered why some race cars, no matter how amazing they are, they just get banned? Isn't the whole point of racing to be the fastest and the best? Well, in National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, many of you know it as NASCAR. It's not always that simple about racing. Over the years, some of the most innovative and jaw-dropping cars have been kicked out of the competition for one main reason: they were just too good. Think about it. What happens when one car is so far ahead of the pack that no one else stands a chance? Should the other teams step up their game, or should NASCAR step in to level the playing field? That's exactly what's happened time and again. So, what if a car could stick to the lane, giving the driver a very easy turn at a crazy speed? Would that be illegal? That's exactly what the Brabham T-46BE, famously known as the fan car, did in 1978. Designed by the brilliant Gordon Murray, this Formula One car used a massive fan at the back, not just to cool the engine, as the rules allowed, but to create incredible downforce by sucking the car onto the track. Genius, right? Its first and only race at the Swedish Grand Prix was unforgettable. Behind the wheel, Niki Lauda dominated the competition, cruising to victory by 34 seconds. The fan gave the BT-46B such an advantage that it seemed almost unfair. Even though the car technically followed the rules thanks to a clever loophole, the backlash was so intense that F1 quickly banned fan-powered designs. The BT-46B was retired after just one race, but it remains a legend, proof that innovation can sometimes be too good for the competition to handle. What could have been if it had raced longer? In 1995, Toyota pushed the limits of creativity and the rulebook in the World Rally Championship, WRC. Rally racing had become faster and more dangerous. So the FIA stands for Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, which translates to the International Automobile Federation, introduced restrictor plates for turbochargers. These plates limited the airflow, reducing power and making cars safer. Sounds fair, right? Well, Toyota had other ideas. Their Celica GT4 had a clever trick up its sleeve. The engineers designed a system where the restrictor plate moved out of the way when the car gained speed, allowing extra air into the engine for more power, an extra 50 horsepower to be exact. When stopped for inspections, springs snapped the plate back into place, making it look perfectly legal. The system was so flawless that it passed inspections multiple times before the FIA caught on. When they did, it was game over. Toyota was banned for the rest of the 1995 season and all of 1996. Their drivers lost their points, and the Celica GT4 became infamous. But now, in the following year, 1997, Hendrick Motorsports built a race car that would make history, but not for the right reasons. Jeff Gordon drove the Monte Carlo, nicknamed T-Rex, in the All-Star race. Designed by Rex Stump, a former Corvette engineer, the T-Rex was meant to be as fast as possible, and it lived up to that goal. Gordon dominated the race, leaving his competition in the dust. But after the race, NASCAR officials took a closer look at the car. Despite it following the rules, they decided the design was just too radical to allow it in future races. But then, why ban a legal car? It came down to the car's innovative design. Hendrick Motorsports later argued that if Gordon hadn't won so easily, the T-Rex wouldn't have been banned. The car's success was partly due to a setup that was discovered by accident during testing. The front end was lowered to improve aerodynamics, which turned out to be a game-changer. In the end, the T-Rex was banned after just one race, making it one of the most famous what-if cars in NASCAR history. The car is now displayed at the Hendrick Motorsports Museum. Moving on, Smokey Yunick was a genius in the sporting game field when it came to pushing the boundaries of racing rules. He knew how to read the rulebook, find loopholes, and use them to his advantage. One of his most famous tricks was with his 7/8 scale Chevrolet Chevelle. Smokey made subtle changes to the bodywork, adding little lips and smoothing the edges to make the car faster. When he went to NASCAR officials for inspection, he used a clever trick to prove his car was legal. He measured it against the official body template and found that it matched perfectly. The test car he used was his own, which no one knew. Although the car wasn't officially banned at first, it pushed NASCAR's rules to the limit, exposing weaknesses in the inspection process. The Chevelle's smaller size gave it aerodynamic advantages, and once NASCAR caught on, stricter rules followed. Smokey was a master of working within the spirit of the law, even if not the exact wording, making his Chevelle one of the most infamous cars in NASCAR history. We all know the Ford 429 engine is legendary, particularly the Boss 429, which holds a special place in automotive history. Designed to compete with the Chrysler Hemi, it featured massive 2.4-inch intake valves and a beefed-up bottom end. Ford introduced it in the late 1960s to take on NASCAR, and it quickly became a powerhouse, with Ford dominating the 1969 Daytona 500. But after just 2 seasons, Ford pulled the plug on the program, finding it too expensive. Despite the short-lived NASCAR career, the Boss 429 had to meet homologation rules, leading to a limited number of street versions. Over time, enthusiasts found ways to breathe new life into the engine by swapping out heads for Hemi-style ones, sparking a new market for Boss 429 conversions. Today, it's an icon for Ford lovers, combining performance, rarity, and a unique design that's both powerful and visually striking. By the early 70s, the muscle car craze was fading. Rising fuel prices, high insurance costs, and stricter government rules on safety and emissions made powerful cars less practical. By 1975, only a few muscle cars were still around, with the 1975 Chevrolet Chevelle Laguna Type S3 trying to carry the legacy. The Chevelle had already downsized by 1973, and the Laguna model came a year later, stepping in to replace the iconic Chevelle SS. Its sleek plastic shovel nose was designed with NASCAR in mind, giving it an aerodynamic edge. It won 2 Winston Cup championships before NASCAR caught on and banned the car from competition. Now, while the street version of the Laguna looks fast with its rally wheels and window louvers, its performance doesn't match the appearance. It took over 10 seconds to reach 60 miles per hour, and its 350 cubic inch V8 only produced 145 horsepower due to early pollution controls. A bigger engine was optional, but it didn't do much to improve speed. With just over 32,000 units made, the Laguna Type S3 is rare, though modern prices don't reflect its historical significance. It's a unique part of muscle car history, even if it couldn't keep up with its predecessors. The Plymouth Superbird was built to rival the Dodge Charger Daytona and quickly became a legend in its own right, even if it didn't last long. Plymouth wanted to bring racing star Richard Petty back after he left for Ford, so they asked him what it would take. His answer was simple: a car as groundbreaking as the Charger Daytona. That's how the Superbird came to life. Petty returned to racing with Plymouth and succeeded, but NASCAR didn't like the Superbird's edge. It was banned, marking the end of an era where speed and innovation ruled the tracks. The Superbird wasn't just for racing, though. It was sold to the public too, making it a rare and valuable collector's item today. Despite its brief time in the spotlight, the Plymouth Superbird remains a symbol of power and innovation. Its unique aerodynamic design and bold features set it apart from other cars of its time. If you're lucky enough to own one, like UEA's John Cena, the Superbird may have been banned, but it left a lasting legacy. I'm sure you'll know this car must be on the list. The 1969-1970 Dodge Charger Daytona wasn't just another muscle car. It was a game changer. Designed to dominate NASCAR, this car was built with a huge rear wing and a massive nose piece to make it more aerodynamic. Why? Because Dodge wanted to win races, and that's exactly what it did. The Charger Daytona was the first car to break 200 miles per hour in a NASCAR race, and it won so many races that NASCAR had no choice but to ban it. But what made the Charger Daytona so special? Well, it wasn't just about power, it was about design. The car had a cone-shaped nose, a flush-mounted rear window, and a huge rear spoiler. These features helped the car slice through the air, keep steady at high speeds, and stay glued to the track. It worked so well that the Charger Daytona won 6 races in 1969 alone. Even though the car was banned from NASCAR, the Charger Daytona still has a place in history. Imagine walking into a Dodge dealership back then and driving off in one of these beasts. Wouldn't it be amazing to own one? Let us know in the comments which of these cars you're most disappointed to see it's no longer around. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support our channel and ring the bell so you never miss an update.